Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So I figured I would take a few minutes today and do the formal introduction of my 2019 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. And of course, that glorious Voodoo blue. This is by far my favorite color. And if you look back at all my videos, ladies and gentlemen, I will always say that. I've always said Voodoo blue is my favorite. And obviously, Lunar Rock, Army Green, even Quicksand, like they're all close second, third, and fourth. I love them all, of course, but this one is my favorite and always has. It always has been. It's always had a special place in my heart because I think it just pops. And I remember not liking it so much right at the beginning, but then when I saw it in person for the first time, I remember just being like, holy cow, this is awesome. But by that time, it was already, the 2020s were rolling off, and I ended up buying my 2020 Army Green 4Runner TRD Pro and then my Tundra TRD Pro, if you guys remember way back when. Couple years ago. So I am in this now, and although it is extra ancient, even compared to the 2020 Tundra TRD Pro, I gotta say I am obsessed with it. And I gotta tell you, even just having this for a week now, I have never had so many compliments on any of my vehicles until I've had this one. Granted, people could just be being nice, right? But the color is loud and it is in your face. It definitely stands out, and I love that when you combine it with the fact that it's just a Toyota. It's just a Toyota at the end of the day, and there are very few colors out there that really stand out and pop like this, and I love it. So I can geek out all day long about Voodoo blue in general, but I'll dial back on the color. So instead, in this video, I'm just gonna do a walk around, jump inside, show you the extra ancient bits to it. This one still has the good old-fashioned antenna, which, they did away with that in 2020. This one is a turnkey. It actually uses well, I'll show you here. One of these old guys. Remember these things? Remember these? Which is pretty sad. So, but I gotta say, I mean, it's just, it really adds to the appeal of the vehicle. It is as raw as it comes nowadays. Nowadays, I mean, every modern vehicle is super high tech. Even the new 2022 Tundra TRD Pros are just extra high tech and borderline too much going on. And I think it's distanced itself from what Toyota has always been, and that is simplicity and reliability. And that is at its core what Toyota is, and I think it should continue to be. And I think that 22 deviated from it. Really, I could have spent just a few grand more and purchased a brand new 22 Tundra TRD Pro. There was one that came available at, I'll say where it is. It's Glen Burnie Toyota, Brown's Toyota in Glen Burnie, Maryland. Excuse me. So they called me. A gentleman there, a sales rep named Miguel. He called me up and said, "Hey, we have one coming inbound. If you want it, you can put your name on it." And I just couldn't do it. You guys know I had the 22, the black one that I got to drive around for about a week. Although it's wicked fast, it's just very snappy. Nice interiors, plush. It just didn't feel right. The fake synthetic sound really bothered me with that, the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, and they got that synthetic sound of the V8 rumble pumping through the speakers. It just bothered me. I just didn't know if I could pull the trigger on one and feel good about it. So I didn't spend too much less, really, if I'm being honest with you, and it's kind of ugly saying that out loud, but I tell you what, I'm so happy I got this. I'm so happy I went back to this and I ended up with the V8 here, the 5.7 liter V8 that I've grown to love, and I know many of us have, because this truly is the much better truck between the two of them, having driven both of them. So I'm very happy, very confident with this decision. The piece that, of course, is going to weigh on me is getting rid of that Land Cruiser in order to get it. So that is, of course, the piece that is going to be the regrettable aspect, of course. But there's not too many Voodoo blue Tundra TRD Pros floating around there either. So, I mean, not to say it's equally rare, of course, compared to the Heritage Edition, but I don't know. I've seen very few Voodoo blue Tundra TRD Pros rolling around, on par with Land Cruisers in general. So, at least from my experience. So, all that to say, perhaps it's just me justifying my decision. I get it, but I'm very, very pleased with the uniqueness of this 2019 Tundra TRD Pro. And I got a confession too. The day before I went to go pick this up, I was on my way out to, not Fredericksburg, Warrenton, Warrenton, Virginia. I was literally driving the Land Cruiser out there to trade in the Land Cruiser for this black 2021 Tundra TRD Pro. Obviously same exact thing, but black, midnight black metallic. It had 7,300 miles on it, so a little bit less than this one. This one had 8,900 miles. And obviously the other one was, you know, a couple years newer, the 2021, the newest of this generation that it came in, right? But it was black. And let me add on to that, it was going to be $4,000 cheaper for me to get the black one. Isn't that kind of crazy? So 2 years older, this one is, had 1,000 more miles, 1,500 more miles than the other one. And it cost me $4,000 more. So that was it was a tough pill to swallow, but at the end of the day, I just didn't know if I wanted to settle with having a black Tundra TRD Pro. They're everywhere. You know, I mean, granted, we buy these for the simplicity, we buy for the reliability, right? We buy for the V8, but, you know, if I'm gonna come back to this, in my own mind, I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna do it, might as well make it the color that I've lusted for so long. Might as well just kind of bite the bullet and get the one I've always wanted. And I'm so happy I did. Every time I look back in a driveway, I'm so pleased with how bright this color is. It's so stunning. So I'll stop talking about the color. I'll do a few things, you guys know. I'll throw on some Nitto Ridge grapplers. I'm debating between the 285s or 295s, what we've seen before. So forgive me, it's not going to be anything too new. But, so I'll likely do that probably next couple days. So this is going to be the one and only, I guess the second and only time that you'll see with the stock Michelin LTXs on it. Which I think by having these on there, they weigh a lot less than those 295, especially Nitto Ridge grapplers. So just maybe the sheer grunt of it and the torque, like it feels maybe a little bit faster, a little bit more powerful, because then when you throw on those heavy tires, obviously it impacts the fuel economy a little bit and just the overall feel just a smidge. It's not much though, not by much. Oh, you'll love this. So I noticed my blinker wasn't working so well, and I went to go check it out. I think it's because we're low on blinker fluid. See if you can see it. Yeah, there you go. You can see I'm pretty low on blinker fluid right now. So after I purchased and got it home, I noticed there was a tiny hole. Where's it at? I can't even see it. There it is. A tiny hole. I mean, like a pellet gun or something. I don't even know. It could have been a rock, of course, but tiny little hole in that, letting water in it. Of course, I messaged the dealership I bought it from. They're like, yeah, sorry about that. No problem. Of course, we'll fix it. So they're going to send me a new taillight, which the glory of it being a Toyota and an ancient taillight here, it's like $100 for the taillight. So pretty cheap. I considered using it as an opportunity to throw on some Morimoto taillights or something a little bit more unique. And I never thought I'd say this, but I've come to really appreciate these old archaic giant red taillights. And the only thing I can compare it to is like my old love and passion for Subaru WRX STIs. They have the giant huge red taillights, and I think that's the only thing I can compare it to, but I really like that look. So we're keeping it stock, keeping OEM, although that would have been the perfect opportunity to swap out. Tell me what you guys think about that. Tell me if I should get a different taillight. I did end up buying a small thing, but I did end up buying black OEM lugs. So we swap out the chrome set that it came with. And like I mentioned in my previous video, I do have my old Diamondback bed cover. So I'll be popping that on this guy probably this weekend. So this one here, this is my neighbor's truck, by the way. So kind of a cheaper brand, Tiger. I think this is like maybe $250, $300, I think. So pretty affordable one, which is nice, but it's kind of flimsy. I'd rather have something a little bit more secure, which the Diamondback, of course, brings. The only other thing I didn't mention before, of course, it has the little rain guards. Small thing. I don't love them, but I don't know. I'll probably keep them on. One thing that the dealership did is they like armor-alled everything. I don't know, maybe it's not armor-all, but the material that they used anyway, or the spray that they use is super, super slippery. So like you can't even put your foot on here without just just sliding around. That's not a good demonstration, but it's super slippery. And they put it everywhere, unfortunately. But I will, for sure, when I get around to doing, give this thing a good, real good detail, and get that back to where it needs to be. But it feels good to have all this room and space, even with the Land Cruiser. And I'm not going to bash the Land Cruiser, because that is in its own league. I get it, guys. It's legendary, especially compared to this, American-made Toyota truck, right? So I get it. But with the Land Cruiser in particular, in order to seat my my kiddos in the back, I actually had to be a little bit further forward to where it was borderline uncomfortable with my seating position. My knees were up against the dash a little bit. So definitely not a problem. In the old Land Cruiser here, or in the old Tundra here, we have, look at that, turnkey start, which I still, every single time that I get in this, I always put my foot on the brake and pop, like push to start. Maybe I've become about that bougie life, but need to get back to used to doing the turnkey. Got a CD player in the 2019 here. That went away, I believe. Yeah, it went away in the 2020. And then this entire system here is a bit antiquated compared to that 2020 as well. Those 3 giant knobs down there, those went away. I think they went to 2 knobs, if I recall correctly, and they had a little bit bigger of a screen in the 2020 as well. And honestly, that reason alone, and the other one having Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, like that reason alone truly is enough, I think, to nudge people to that 2020. And honestly, I kind of kept going back and forth. Do I get another Army Green 2020? I considered that. Or do I get this? Because I never had this color and I've always loved it. And I'm happy I went this way, but I could see why people would want to just have that additional tiny little bit of tech that helps out. Show you the back seats there. I love this. Forgive the dirty seats. If you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. Like this is a big car seat. This is a really big one, right? And even then, with me having a ton of legroom up there, you get plenty of space back here, which is awesome. So, huge fan of that, and the kiddos love it too. I love how this is like nothing going on right here. So the air vents right there, I love it. Just look how huge, massive this door is. And I don't care what anybody says, the 2022 is smaller than this. I won't say by a long shot, but it for sure is. And I think maybe a piece of the equation is the 2022, although the doors didn't seem as long, I think the actual cut of the doorway, the cab, went deeper, went further toward the rear, if that makes sense. So this right here, I think, is just a bit bigger on this particular Tundra compared to the other one. I think the other one goes a little bit deeper in with the cut, but the door itself isn't as big, if that makes sense. So maybe a little bit more of an optical illusion, but this for sure is bigger in here. Got the old sunroof. I'll likely throw on, like I did before, I've grown to really appreciate it. Maybe I'm just getting old. I'll get a grab handle installed right here, which is pretty straightforward. I think Spark Parts. Is it Spark Parts? I think that's where I bought it. The last one was like 120, and I'll likely do the wireless charging tray here in the center as well. So we'll swap that out too. This right here is plenty reason to buy this generation Tundra. I'll tell you what, it really is. Every time I sell one and I get back into it, I quickly realize just how wonderful this thing sounds, and it's just a thrill to drive. It's a raw, visceral feeling. It's not fast by any means, right? But we don't buy it for speed. But like the torque, I think the power delivery is exceptional in this. And I'm not trying to totally beat a dead horse. I've made a million videos on Tundras. I get it, guys. But I don't know. Something keeps bringing me back to them, obviously. Aside from me being a nutcase, I get it. But it really is such a smooth power delivery, and the giant 5.7 liter V8 just feels right in this. And I don't know, the 3.5 liter, I'm not the type to think, no replacement for displacement, right? I'm not that type of guy. I'd like to think I'm not, but it does, I don't know, it just does feel right having the V8 in this. It's tried and true. It's gonna deliver. It's always gonna start for you. And we just don't know that yet with the 22, of course. But I think Toyota will ultimately deliver on it. They'll work out the few kinks similar to what they did on the 5.7 here, and it will become a great power plant over the next couple years. Do I still stand by picking a 22 TRD Pro over overpaying for a previous generation TRD Pro? It's tough. It's tough. It really depends on the price tag, right? If you're going to get a unique color and the mileage is really low, below 10,000, still I think the 22 makes most sense if you're able to get it at MSRP, right? I mean, try something new, and I'll likely eat my own words here. I'll likely end up getting one at some point, maybe a 23, 24 model. But for now, I could not be happier to be back in this. And I've already gotten so many compliments on this, like I mentioned. It turns heads left and right, my own included. And that really says something for having such a dated platform, for such an old truck. It is crazy how many heads it turns, and just, you know, the amount of appreciation that this old tank gets. And I think it looks better than a 22 all day long. All day long. It's just more proportionate. The body lines are subtle and sleek, whereas the 22 is just, it's too much. It's overdone in a number of places. The interior, especially if you get the red interior, I think that's a flop. But we'll talk more about that. In my next video, guys, I'm going to provide you guys with the price tag. I'll give you the price tag, and I'm going to give you the exact number that they gave me for the Land Cruiser. And I've been dreading it, honestly. I've been dreading giving you that video and giving you those numbers. But I think it's important for me to share that with you guys. As much as I share and boast about the amazing deals that I get and about paying MSRP brand new, right? I think it's important for you to see me paying a few dollars more for a used vehicle, paying market value. I think it's important for you to see that too. So much more to follow. Just wanted to share this with you. Let me know if I need, what kind of blinker fluid I need to throw in this guy to get it going again. But at any rate, guys, I appreciate you watching as always. Until next time.